Allow it to cool for about 10-15 minutes, then chop it up, and yo, delightful, delicious Char Siu chicken. So simple, yet so tasty. Let's work on the marinade first, and I've got here dark soy sauce. You know, and this recipe came about after I made the Char Siu pork. A lot of fans, a lot of people who follow me here on social media doesn't do pork. Light soy sauce. So dark soy sauce, light soy sauce. I am not the biggest fan of sesame oil, but I will still put some in there because it gives it that sort of earthy, nutty sort of flavor. 2 cloves of garlic that I crushed. And it may seem like a lot of ingredients, but to be honest with you, my kitchen already had everything here. I didn't have to go and buy anything. Golden brown sugar. And if you know anything, or if you've watched that video I did with the Char Siu pork, you will know it's supposed to be sort of that balance between sweet and savory and sticky and all those things. And speaking about the savory, we've got Chinese 5-spice powder. That is my homemade blend. I believe I have the recipe for making that right here on YouTube. Give that a little mixy mix. I've got some hoisin, and if you wanted to put some oyster sauce, you can certainly do that as well. I've got some Chinese cooking wine and honey, a bit more of that sweetness, that stickiness. I'll pull all those things together, scrape down in there. One of the things about Chinese barbecue, especially Char Siu, is that sort of red color that it's famous for, and that comes courtesy, well, there's a bean that's usually used sometimes, but for the most part it's red food coloring. So I'm not trying to stick to the nitty-gritty of the recipe, and we're gonna give that a stir like so. Full list of ingredients for that marinade. One more thing, I am not the biggest fan of white pepper, so I'm going to use black pepper. But if you have white pepper, traditionally white pepper is used. I'm on, it has a sort of a musty sort of farm barn kind of smell to white pepper that I just don't appreciate. So give that a mix, and it's just a matter of seasoning the chicken with this and allowing it to marinate. I'm just breaking down a whole chicken, so I'll pretty much explain what I did. I had the entire chicken like so. I took off the wing tips, flipped it over, and then I cut it down the back. And then all I would do is split it down the chest like so. Remove some of that extra fat. And there we go. We got half of a chicken there, half of a chicken here, and we're ready to season and marinate. Quick little wipe down. Gonna give that marinade one more little mixy mix like that, and then it's just a matter of pouring it all over the chicken. I'm gonna go in there with my hands, but keep in mind that red food coloring is gonna stain your hands, so you may want to wear gloves. I'm gonna give that a good mix, and then I'm gonna cover it with cling wrap, and let's go into the fridge to marinate at least a couple hours. My oven is preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and a few things I want to go through with you. You'll notice I didn't put any salt on the chicken. All that soy sauce is going to have that sodium element, but if you wanted to put some salt, you can certainly do that. This is going to be messy once it's baked, once it's roasted off in the oven there. So I'd highly recommend lining your baking tray as I did there with that that shiny stuff, that aluminum stuff there. I placed it on a rack. I placed the chicken on a rack because I want that air to move around the chicken. But if you don't have a rack, don't fret too much. Just crinkle up the foil, and that will work nicely. If you want, you see me pouring the marinade directly onto the chicken now. If you wanted to cook this marinade, so bring it up to a boil and let it simmer for a bit, you can use it as a dipping sauce later. While I said this recipe came about after all the requests after doing the Char Siu pork, In reality, I grew up eating this. But as a kid growing up on the islands, you know, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, San Fernando. Mocarapo Street had a spot that would have this, but I usually called it the red chicken because of the color of the Chinese barbecue. But anyhow, into the oven now, 400 degrees, middle rack. Oh, one more thing, if you wanted to use boneless chicken thighs or chicken breast can go a bit dry, but once you marinate it like I did there, you should be fine. If you wanted to just take the bones out altogether, you can certainly do that. And when cooking it, keep in mind this is a whole chicken. There are bones and everything in there, so it will take longer than cooking boneless chicken thighs. 40 minutes, and this is what we have so far. Here's what I like, and it's another use for the leftover marinade. I like to brush some on as well too. So if you saved it, rather than drench it all over, so I'm just giving you guys a different option. This chicken is almost fully cooked because it was a small bird, plus having the wire rack under there meant that hot air is circulating all over. Now you want to make sure you're adding, because I didn't cook this marinade, it is raw, so it is you gotta be careful. When I say careful, you want to stick it back into the oven for another 10 minutes or so. Make sure the rawness cooks out, and then you have an incredible Char Siu chicken to rock. Further 10 minutes after basting it there, or glazing it with that remaining glaze, and we are left with fully cooked Char Siu chicken. Sup soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I'm really trying to tell people the email address. Them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irene? I'd recommend you allow it to cool down for about 10-15 minutes. Then you would chop it up, serve it up, enjoy. Polly is trying to make an appearance on the video today. Aye, where's your watermelon? Go eat your watermelon. Go do your baby bum bum or whatever it is you watch on TV.